Hey everybody, I'm Jammer, and today, finally, wearing the special green suit, because this marks an amazing occasion of Nintendo's Nintendo Switch's first E3 presence. So today, I'm going to give you my formal predictions for their entire digital event
directly
to you. Now so in the past few weeks, or in a week or so, whatever, I've been doing a bunch of different videos talking about individual releases they could be talking about this year's E3, specifically like new games coming to the Switch and stuff. I'll put a link to the playlist and those videos in the description. I talked about Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Metroid Prime, Super Smash Bros., and I went really in-depth into those titles and what they could offer and whether or not it's actually going to be a thing and come and be shown off at this year's E3. So if you are interested in a little more in-depth ideas and thoughts about those particular games, definitely check those videos out. I'll mention them here for sure, but I won't go nearly as in-depth as I did in those previous videos. This one will be really just encapsulating the entire presentation of Nintendo's presence at E3, talking about the games we kind of know and expect they're going to be showing off, and just maybe some of the things I'd like to see them talk about here. So first off, I think the biggest focus of this year's E3 is going to be Super Mario Odyssey. I feel like it's going to be very similar to last year's E3, where Breath of the Wild was the huge focus of that E3, and I think Mario Odyssey will have a similar presence here. I mean, the obvious difference is Zelda was the only game at that year's E3, and this year, there's obviously going to be more games just that they have. They didn't say, like, the last year, where they're like, don't expect anything else, there's only one game, you know? We know there's going to be other stuff like Fire Emblem Warriors, Splatoon 2, potentially maybe ARMS, other Nintendo Switch titles, and 3DS as well. So, but I still think Mario Odyssey is going to get the biggest presence at this year's E3 and just take as much of the focal point as it can. It's a new Mario game for their brand new console. Of course, they're going to want to focus on it and really capitalize on it and just take over the whole wave space with just Mario, you know? I think it's going to be a big part of their digital event and their presentation, and as well, I believe on the show floor itself, the majority of booths are going to be running Super Mario Odyssey. And things we can expect to see, I bet you the New Donk City that we saw in that first reveal trailer for the game, I can expect that will be playable in the demo, and maybe something they'll really focus on here during the digital event and talk about that. They might do some mini kind of story recap. I mean, it's going to be very minuscule, but it'll be like, you know, Bowser's planning a wedding, he kidnapped Peach, blah, blah, blah. It's up to Mario and his new hat friend to save the day. You know, it'll be something along the lines of that. There's going to be tons of new footage and gameplay of, like, all the worlds we've seen already. I think we've seen 5 in total, correct me if I'm wrong. And a lot of people theorize that could be it. It could be just these 5 main worlds, but they're just really big and expansive, so they have a lot of, like, diverse things in there. And I kind of believe that. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, who wouldn't want to see more worlds? Don't get me wrong. But it does make a lot of sense that it might only be as many as there is. But I could see a new reveal for another stage or another world, for example. I mean, besides the 5 shown off, I mean, the other obvious world would be like a Bowser's Castle world or whatever, like for the final fight and the final boss. But in an exception to that one, obviously, I'd love to see some more other unique stuff, like maybe an ice one, ice-themed, and, I don't know, a beach? Like, there's other ideas, of course, they can go with, and I'm not entirely sure what. I mean, I kind of believe that this might be it, and we're obviously going to see more of these worlds, because we only got such a brief glimpse at all of it. But, I could see something, like, I could see them making new worlds, but it might be just, you know, these 5 or however many handful we've already seen, which will be fine too. One thing a lot of people, when talking about Mario Odyssey, they kind of noticed in the trailer, I mean, myself included, in the initial reveal trailer for the Nintendo Switch, the one chick, Karen, as everyone calls her, she's playing Nintendo Switch at home. She's playing in, like, the frozen desert world of Mario Odyssey, and she picks up her Switch and goes across the street to the, you know, the cool roof party, and she's like, oh god, they're all like, oh god, it's Karen, god, she just can't leave her Switch at home, she brings it everywhere, you know, so yeah, she brings it over, but then the thing is, she slides him off and hands her friend a Joy-Con to play. She obviously could be playing any game, but from what we were watching, like, contextually, it kind of makes sense that she was playing our Mario, then went to her friend's house, and it's assumed that maybe she's still playing Mario. I mean, obviously she could have switched games, but they kind of position it as she could be still playing the same game. If there was like a cut in between to a different scene or something like that, and then came back to that or whatever, maybe it would be more make more sense that it could have been any other game. but it kind of left the indication it could be multiplayer on Mario Odyssey, which is very interesting. It's something I've actually wanted for a long time. Like, I thought it'd be so much fun to do a co-op, like, Galaxy experience, much more than frickin' the Luma thing, because, I mean, the Luma, you can only do so much with the Luma. It's a very minuscule multiplayer co-op experience. But the thing is, the problem with co-op in 3D platform games specifically is, when trying to, sometimes there's really tight sections where you need to time perfectly and whatnot, and if your partner you're jumping along with, like, messes up and falls behind or whatever, you have to kind of wait for them to catch back up, or you actually get pulled back with them because the camera takes you down with them or something like that. So, as much as I would love the full campaign being playable in co-op, I mean, it might be a little bit different since it is a open world experience, and they could easily just do like a split screen thing, and like you go off, do your thing, I'll do my thing type deal. But I don't know. I'm a huge co-op fan, so I'll always take any opportunity to play more co-op. Especially, you know, it's a lot of fun. I love it so much. But it's because then you gotta design. The problem with that is you have to design the worlds around a co-op experience. I guess if you don't, it'll just hinder the co-op experience. But if you do, and you play single player, it might feel a little bit janky because maybe the platforms are a little bit bigger than they have to be because they're more suited for two players to be on the same time, or maybe the platform moving stuff are like more timed so two people can navigate it at the same interval, you know, or at the same time. So that's like a thing coming to, like, when you think about game design, like, can kind of conflict with it, because you can't design the game from the ground up to be a single-player experience and then kind of just push multiplayer into it. And if you do, it just won't be as organic, it won't feel as right. Like, a great example is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. It's a great platform game, a lot of fun, and there's multiplayer in it. However, it's not that well incorporated because it feels like it's a single-player platforming experience with very tight jumps. We gotta jump perfectly on enemy to enemy, and if your partner, like, falls behind for a second, he's gonna get wiped out really quick. Like, obviously there's the piggyback system, but I at least personally think it didn't really work out very well for that favor. However, then there's games like Mario Bros. Wii, which again is still a great single-player experience, but also a hectic and hilarious multiplayer experience. Granted, you're more hindering each other more than helping, but like that's how co-op goes, right? So, I mean, that's a great example of a game that manages to capture both audiences perfectly, a single-player and a co-op experience. So it's possible. It is entirely possible that it could be a Mario and Luigi adventure in Mario Odyssey. And we haven't even seen Luigi at all yet, so perhaps this could be the reveal at E3, where they reveal Luigi as a playable character or something, which would be insane. Or what if they even went the route of, I was about to say Donkey Kong 64, but a better example was Mario 64 DS, where there's different multiple characters you can play as. So, kind of putting aside the single co-op stuff for a second, like, what if in the main campaign mode, or the main solo mode of Mario Odyssey, maybe you could pick up other Mushroom Kingdom people to be part of your party, like Toads, or not a Toad. Maybe you could have Luigi and get his flutter jump and jump higher. Maybe you could have Wario, where he jumps and runs slower, but he's got, like, beefier punches and can break through bricks and stuff like that. That was like a concept of Mario DS, or 64 DS that, I mean, it wasn't properly implemented, but I saw the potential in it. I thought that'd be a really cool idea to be able to change the different characters and really, I don't know, it could offer a lot of unique gameplay experiences. It was kind of like shoehorned in there, because obviously Mario 64 wasn't made for like a swapping character experience, but there's a lot of potential there, and in that game it got a little cumbersome and annoying, but I think it could still work, and that could be something you could do here in Mario Odyssey as well. And I'm gonna finish off everything I have to say about Mario Odyssey before moving on, because obviously this is gonna be the focus of E3, and I should focus on a lot in this video as well. So, I covered the multiplayer release date. I think it's gonna say holiday 2016 probably again. They're not gonna say what day. More than likely, it's gonna be the Friday or the Thursday night before Black Friday. That's just when Nintendo's typical holiday release is, you know? Like, that's when, I believe, Smash Wii U came out. That's when, what came out last year for Christmas? Oh, I don't even know. What came out last year for Christmas? I don't even remember. Regardless, the point I'm trying to make is that's more likely going to be the release date for this game. Whether they say it or not, it's pretty obvious that it's probably going to land in that slot in November, right before Black Friday. It's the perfect spot for it, you know? I really want them to explain about the hat concept in Mario Odyssey. I mean, they talked about, not talked about, excuse me. In the trailer, they show off the hat shop, and they show that your hat's alive. So there's obviously some sort of emphasis on hats, and I think that we're gonna get a good taste at like the power-ups in this game, and perhaps if they're incorporated with hats or with how those work in the game. Maybe they'll talk about the currency, the little like the orange or the purple Doritos are in the desert world, or the cogs, whatever, in that one forest area. Maybe they'll talk about how you can use those perhaps to like upgrade your hats or buy different hats or something along the lines of that. I bet you we'll get some more explanation there, and yeah, I think that's everything I want to say about Mario Odyssey. Again, I think it's going to be a major focus of this year's E3. I bet you there'll be some surprises that we weren't expecting. I mean, they'll probably talk about those bunny guys that are like the rip-off Koopalings, Bowser's motivations and stuff like that. So there's a lot they're going to talk about here, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton to go through, but I have a lot of games to still talk about in this prediction video, and this video has already been like 10 minutes. Okay, so the next thing I think they're going to focus on a lot is Splatoon 2. Even though it's only coming out a month after E3, I think it's going to have a big presence here at E3. Because, I mean, every time they announce anything with Splatoon 2, there's already a ton of hype surrounding it. I mean, like, they piggybacked it onto the ARMS Direct just so people could watch the ARMS Direct, and, I mean, it worked, And, like, so anything that's Splatoon related that comes out, a lot of people just jump on immediately, and it's like a very recognizable brand already for Nintendo. And I think they want the freshness of the series to really shine through on the Switch and show how modern Nintendo is, and show just like all the, I don't know, and show that kind of presence on the Switch of the shooter franchise that won those awards when Splatoon first came out. So like, I think it's going to be a bigger focus than I mean, arguably should be, just because it's coming out as soon as it is. I expect probably another mode. I think they're going to show off another mode, because they did the story trailer already. We got an already great glimpse of that. They don't really explain any more than they already have there without obviously giving away spoilers. We saw a good concept of what we're going to be expecting there. We saw Salmon Run. We've already been hearing tons of news updates, like all the rank mode matches are coming back, like Turf War, Ride the Tower, and what was Rainmaker. So we already know those three are coming back. Obviously Turf War is back because we've already played that. That's the thing. I mean, I think we're going to see some new stages for sure. Potentially even a brand new weapon type, which would be really awesome. And then, yeah, a new mode. Perhaps a new mode like similar to Salmon Run, or maybe another mode that will be thrown in the competitive scene / the for fun Turf War scene. I don't know, something like that. Because I think I don't think what's the covering called? Salmon Run. Yeah, I don't think Salmon Run is going to be the only new mode in Splatoon 2. I think there's going to be one more at the very least to get even more diversity in this game. And potentially, I bet you they're going to announce another Splatoon model for Splatoon 2, where they're going to say updates are coming down the line with new stages, new weapons, new modes, potential game modes, and I bet you they also will talk about the return of Splatfest, and how maybe they'll announce what the first one is, or something like that, saying, hey, the second weekend of the launch of Splatoon, we'll be doing maybe even return to cat versus dogs, like just to like bring it back full circle to like how Splatoon started, and like back to the roots or something like that. I could see them definitely doing that, and Splatfest are of course coming back. There's no question about that. Obviously they'll remind us of the release date. We already know what it is. They might talk about amiibo functionality, but again, we already kind of know what's going on there. Oh man, I had a great point about Splatoon 2, and I cannot remember it for the life of me. Oh, the Splatfest. Okay, so after playing a lot of the Test Punch for ARMS, I've gotten like a ton of hours in and playing that game, and I had a lot of fun with it. Now it's like, I'm like, okay, why did Splatoon 2 have like the shortest little test fire ever of 3 days with only 3 sessions or 1 session per day? Like, I only got it in like I think 1.5 sessions at even. With ARMS, I've played like almost 10 plus sessions now, I think. Is that right? Or something like that. I've played literally, I think, every single one, maybe an exception to maybe one or something like that. And like, I've gotten a ton of playtime with that game, and like now it's like, well, why isn't Splatoon do it? Like, why don't they have like a round 2, returns another weekend? So I could see them maybe announcing the Splatoon 2 test fire to come back. What weekend? Not the weekend right after E3, but potentially the weekend to follow. Because obviously that weekend, after E3 continues, ARMS is going to release, and obviously they're going to want to focus on that throughout that weekend, I guess. But the following weekend, what if they brought back the test fire and gave people another opportunity to play the game who maybe didn't have a Switch at the time and now have one now and can play it, or like me, didn't really have the opportunity to play those test fire times because they had other commitments and they couldn't actually attend those or something like that. So I hope they bring it back. It could be a little bit farther away. Like, it could be towards the end of June, or maybe the middle end. Like, it'll be after E3 at least a few weeks. But I kind of expect them to actually bring back the test fire, because I really want to get my hands on Splatoon again. I mean, obviously, we'll get a chance to play it at E3. It'll definitely be there. They're even holding a Splatoon 2, what's it called, tournament or whatever, or something like that. So there's obviously that, and maybe I'll try to sign up and see how well I can do, I guess. But there's that, and of course that's just for people at E3. I want people at home, and I want to test the servers again, and, like, you know, be able to stream it with you guys and stuff. So that's the one last thing I wanted to pick about Splatoon 2, is they'll bring back the test fire for maybe one last round, one last weekend before the game actually launches in July. Yeah, in July. So the next game is Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which was rumored and then fully leaked just the other week. It's very obvious that this game is coming. There's no questions that it's fake or whatever. I mean, it literally says in the thing, like, surprise reveal at E3, because it's going to come out only a few months afterwards, whatever, in August. Potentially September, I believe it actually said, after rereading it anyways. So we're going to obviously see it here, and it's probably going to be playable as well at E3. And it'll probably get, an okay focus, just because it's something supposedly brand new that we didn't know that was coming, you know. And I'm really interested to see what's going to go on in that game. I'm like, how the gameplay and the combat's going to work. I mean, it's supposedly turn-based, but, like, I'm interested to see how simplistic it's going to be. Because, I mean, I'm a fan of turn-based, and especially if it's, like, simple. Because then there's a lot of fun there, because you can add a lot of depth to it. Like, the Paper Mario series, the original Paper Mario games are a great example of that, where it's very simplistic, turn-based battle system, but you can really build upon that and expand and make it actually quite advanced, you know. And maybe there could be something similar with the Raving Rabbids RPG somehow. I don't know. They also mentioned that there's, like, exploration on the overworld. I'd love to see some of that, and, like, because you don't directly control your character, and I still don't know what that means. I guess you're controlling the little robot guy, and the rest of your team is, like, following behind you, like Earthbound style, or they're just, like, walking behind you or something. I don't know, but obviously it's going to be revealed here. We're going to see gameplay, release date, probably, and then obviously playable on the show floor. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I've talked about this game a ton in my update video, whatever. If you want to watch that, you can check that out as well. So before I move on, I want to talk about ARMS, because I did mention that previously. ARMS has a presence already being an open tournament at E3, and obviously that will be probably on Treehouse livestream or something like that. But as far as during the digital event, ARMS could have a minor presence, just to say, hey, by the way, this is coming out in, like, 3 or 4 days, you know? Like, so that's, like, really the only reason why I would want it, or I can see it being part of the digital event. It doesn't really need a focus, because, I mean, we've already all had, like, plenty of hours of playtime of it. There's been tons of coverage on it, tons of videos of people uploading all over the internet, you know? So it's not like people don't know about it. It's very obvious. But, I mean, they'll probably just throw it in there just to say, hey, literally this game's coming out within this week, so definitely go check it out, you know, and get your Nintendo Switch. So anyways, let's move on to Fire Emblem Warriors, which I keep calling Hyrule Warriors, and if I keep calling it, please excuse me that I mean to say Fire Emblem, I really do. I think we're going to definitely get a release date, or at least a vague release date. If they don't say, they won't say a season, they're not going to say fall 2017. I think if it's September, but they don't have a date yet, they'll just say, like, September 2017, for example. And I think it's going to be September or October. That's my bet, just because it's not going to be November, obviously. So I could see, like, a September, end of summer, or maybe in October if it needs a little bit more time. I mean, we don't really know anything about the game besides we saw, like, the briefest trailer of all time, which was basically a logo and a picture of Chrom. But since then, there has been some information that come out. There's been some screenshots of some new characters, the unique ones for this game. They're basically, like, the Corins of this game, or, like, Alphonse and Sharon of Fire Emblem Heroes. Like, they're the new characters that were created for this game. They're going to be, like, the main protagonist type deal, you know, and that kind of ties the whole story in together, you know. And they did mention in an interview, which is unfortunate, that this game is going to focus on, like, specifically focus on characters from what? Awakening, Fates, and Mystery of the Emblem. So really, so they can get Marth in for the Mystery Emblem, and, like, Tiki, maybe. Who else would even be there? Merrick? I guess he's from Mystery Emblem. He's popular enough, I guess. But it's primarily going to be focused on characters that, like, are newer to the franchise, which, I guess that's fine. But the thing is, for people who got really, like, down about that, not pulling from the great games like Radiant Dawn, Binding Blade, Sacred Stone, stuff like that, is there's always a potential for DLC. Because, I mean, look at Hyrule Warriors. They didn't focus on Majora's Mask or Wind Waker. and what else? Like Link Between, no, Link to the Past. There's like plenty of other handheld titles they didn't even talk about at all, like Link Between Worlds and everything. It was really focused on Twilight, Skyward, Ocarina. Is that it? I think that was it. Yeah, pretty much. And so basically, but then afterwards they updated with DLC with new characters from those past games. They also, on Legends anyways, had new maps based around these new characters. And, like, there's still potential they could do that with Fire Emblem Warriors, where they could release a, you know, Sacred Stones pack, and you can now play as Ephraim and Erica, and maybe, like, another couple of characters, like, another third character. Probably just Ephraim and Erica. I hope it's not all Lords, to be honest. I know those are obviously the more popular characters, but they already did state that they don't want to go all Lords just because they want a diverse roster of different weapons. They don't want all characters using swords. Even though a lot of Fire Emblem characters use swords. I mean, there's nothing to do about it. They just do. I hope they do announce really unique to me. I hope they really announce... God, what am I trying to say? I hope that they announce some unique characters with, like, different kind of abilities. Like, I know one that'll definitely be there is Camilla. She'll gonna be a character, but I think she's gonna be very interesting because she's a wyvern rider. She's also got an axe, will be interesting. I'd love to see how mages are gonna be played and incorporated in this game. If I'm gonna do some predictions now of what characters we see, I think honestly the popular characters we see even in Fire Emblem Heroes are gonna make an appearance. So Ryoma, Xander, Takumi probably, Azura, who else? We know Chrom and Marth anyways, the two new characters. Probably Camilla. Let's get a mage in there. Oh, probably Robin. They'll make him a tome user and maybe have his Levin sword in there a little bit. Korn will be there, of course. You know, just the main cast of, like, the most popular. Tharja, probably, hopefully. That'd be really cool. So it's really going to be a lot of characters that we like. Oh, yeah, and then let's finish off. Tiki, and then we have a dragon player to play as besides Korn, obviously, because she's more Lance, whatever. And, who else? I think that's about, like, who I could, like, 100% predict that'll probably be in the game. I don't think they'll show all these characters off here, though. Very similar to how Hyrule Warriors was at its first E3. It only showed off, like, 3 characters, I think, actually. It was, like, Link, Zelda, and Impa. That was really it for that game. And maybe Volvagia or Volga or something like that. Maybe one of the villains. So I can see something similar here, where they're going to show off Chrom and Marth gameplay, and then they'll throw in maybe, like, Korn... who's more popular? Maybe like a Korn, and then maybe somebody else, like from Awakening or something like that. Maybe Robin or something, just like the other 2 player characters. Not entirely sure, but I could really expect, like, they'll show off the 2 that we've already seen, obviously the 2 brand new characters, and then maybe throw 1 or 2 brand new characters that we didn't know were in the game. And then we'll get a better idea of how the game's gonna play. Like, if there's gonna be, like, adventure maps, kind of like there is in Hyrule Warriors. Is it gonna be situated like that? How the story mode is gonna work, the campaign where you'll level to level. One thing I really hope they're going to explain, they're probably going to explain, is how, because they say that the weapon triangle is going to be incorporated in this game, which is really interesting. I mean, in Hyrule Warriors, the gimmick, if you want to call it, was the elemental stuff, where, like, you'd have lightning and, like, certain enemies would be weak to certain elements, and you could use that to your advantage on certain stages. But it looks like, I don't know if that's going to be a thing here, and instead it's going to be the weapon triangle. And they did say that you can actually change your character mid-battle, like in Hyrule Warriors Legends. It's a shame that never came to Wii U or got updated afterwards. But that's something I, like, loved about Legends. I didn't actually get it, and I wish that was in the Wii U version of Hyrule Warriors. And I'm excited that it's here, because then you can actually mix up your gameplay, put a character here at one base, and then swap over to another who's at a different, protect this spot. This game's gonna be a lot of fun. Everyone's been saying since Hyrule Warriors happened, like, I think the #1 Warriors game people were talking about or theorizing is a Fire Emblem Warriors game. And I can't wait. I'm really excited to see what they can do. It's, again, a shame they're not drawing from more different games across the franchise. But, I don't know. I think it's probably smart. It's probably smart on them for choosing the more popular or new games, I guess, because obviously the more newer fans are more aware of these characters. But I hope they don't entirely forget the older games in the franchise and really pay them tribute as well. And even if they don't, I mean, there is always the potential of a sequel. Because, I mean, this game's probably going to sell like gangbusters. Because Hyrule Warriors did fantastic, and I'm sure Waifu Emblem is going to just do just as great, you know? Okay, so now let's move on to more, like, housekeeping stuff, I guess, about the Nintendo Switch. I bet you they'll mention the sales figures for it, just to kind of, like, gloat and, like, say, hey, jump on, not gloat, I guess, that's the wrong word for it, but, like, basically encouraging people to jump on the bandwagon, there's the word. I think they'll also mention, okay. I initially had said Virtual Console will more than likely be tied in with the paid service, like online service, just because one of the benefits of being a paid online user is you get access to like the 3 or so free Virtual Console games that with online functionality. They're considered the Classic Collection or something like, or compilation. But they just recently, after talking about that it's going to be delayed till 2018, which I think is a very smart idea, they also said that the Classic compilation is not directly tied to the Virtual Console. It's going to be a different thing. So let's say if you had Super Mario Bros. Regularly on the Switch, you got Super Mario Bros. Through the compilation would be a different game technically, because then for that one you can actually access online. The Virtual Console version you wouldn't be able to, for example. And I think because there's that separation now that we know about, Virtual Console is more likely it can be a separate announcement now. Like, at least that's what I think anyways, or feel like. So whether we can see Virtual Console at E3, I think so. I think it's about finally time. People have been begging like it for crazy. I don't understand why you people are so fanatic over it. I mean, it's gonna come eventually. Just kind of be patient. There's plenty of other brand new Nintendo Switch titles to play. Plenty of indie stuff. I mean, if you really want to play your Virtual Console stuff, just boot up your Wii U or your Wii again, I guess. But I understand the appeal of now you can take those Virtual Console titles on the go on your Nintendo Switch. So, upgrade program. I think they might talk about it a little. I don't know. I hope they'll do. Okay. I hope a dream scenario would be they say that anything you bought, you can upgrade it over, and now you'll own that forever through your Nintendo account. I would love that to be a thing, and if they do it, I will be so happy. But it's just a thing that it just sounds so unlike Nintendo. They have never done anything of that caliber or even similar. They've been so awful with account systems. Like, it's just the track record they have. It's not their fault, I guess. But this could be a turning point. This could be a turning point with the Switch where they say once you buy a game, that game is locked to your account, and now you own that game for the rest of your life, essentially, you know, rather than repurchasing. Which would be nice. I mean, so far there's no cross eShop purchases either with the Switch, and potentially they could introduce that here, saying, hey, titles that you bought on Wii U or Wii or 3DS or whatever are linked to your account. You can now pay an upgrade fee to get it over onto the Switch. And it sucks. You should be able to get it for free to go over, but I think they'll probably try to get away with the one last as long as this is the one last upgrade fee and then you keep it forever. I hope that's a thing. I don't want to bank on that and totally predict and say that's going to be a thing that's going to happen, because I'm not entirely sure. I can't put my faith in that that's going to happen. But I would love that to happen. Like, and I can be okay with that. Like, if I have to pay like $1 more or $2 more just to forever now lock that to my account, I'm more happy to do that, you know. I'll be fine doing that, like, one last time, you know. But it gets it. Hopefully they're gonna get it right and not continue to force people to keep buying these games over and over and over, which would be so annoying. As far as what titles they're gonna launch the Virtual Console with, I think they're gonna start with NES and excuse me. I think they're gonna talk about NES and Super Nintendo titles and get those out. Like, it's just a quick handful, and I bet you it'll be something so similar to you know, other previous directs where it's like, these are now available today, you know, and now Virtual Console's live. There's been so many rumors about GameCube titles being a thing on Virtual Console, and here's the thing. I don't know. Like, I'm all on the team that Virtual Console GameCube titles need to be a thing, because, I mean, I still boot up my GameCube all the time, don't get me wrong, and I have the opportunity to do it because I own all those games. There's a lot of gamers that are really want to play those games, or perhaps maybe had them in the past and now don't have an opportunity to play them anymore because their GameCube's broken or the disc itself just got worn down, you know? So, and there's a lot of great titles on the GameCube, like Sunshine, Thousand Year Door, best game of all time, you know? There's plenty of stuff to play there, and it's a shame that there's really no opportunity to play it besides on the GameCube. Yes, you can probably find a Wii nowadays, and they can still play all those GameCube games, but then it's a matter of tracking down the disc. And that's really the only avenue or place to buy those and play those games, is finding the disc somewhere on eBay or on a local wherever, you know, like, so that's like one thing that's like a problem, and I would love the opportunity for more people to become fans of GameCube games and be able to play them, especially when play them on the go. Like, come on. So the reason I'm not sure they're gonna announce it here is it's the problem with the analog triggers. It really is truly the problem. It's because it's not like all games rely on it, don't get me wrong, but there are games that do, and you can't, I mean, it's harder to emulate that with a digital trigger. I mean, the idea I kind of pose is like, if you want a half click, maybe you click R, like the higher button. If you want a full click, you click ZR, and the little actual trigger, and then it's like half click and full click, and you can get that at least. So then you can at least kind of emulate it. But I think if they're gonna release GameCube Virtual Console titles, they need to give the option to have a controller with analog input triggers. So whether that be a wireless Bluetooth GameCube controller that can work with the Switch, whether they talk about the GameCube adapter from Smash Brothers being on Wii U, being compatible with the Nintendo Switch. Not entirely sure. I think if they did do that, though, the adapter anyways, I think they'll have to announce Smash Bros. Switch in tandem with that, because that only makes sense. I mean, if they announce just the adapter and not Smash Bros., I think people will already assume Smash Bros. Is confirmed, you know, so it might as well just combine the two announcements. And that's potentially, we could see Smash here. I don't really think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to happen, just because, like a lot of people mentioned, it would really cannibalize ARMS. I mean, obviously they're very different fighting games, but they are still fighting games, you know, and they're very, you know, and if someone maybe who's interested in ARMS all of a sudden sees Smash, like, shoot, I'm going to save the money and get Smash when it comes out later this year, you know. And, well, obviously, if you want to hear more about Smash, definitely check out that other video. I don't want to talk about it too much here. But I think we might see it this year, later this year anyways, but it won't come out till next year anyways, regardless of the Amiibo coming out this summer. So, that's the thing about GameCube Virtual Console. I think they might have to hold off on that for a little while until either they have some sort of solution for the analog triggers, or they have the compatibility of the GameCube controller adapter that can also be used and work with the Virtual Console titles, perhaps using, or even if you're using handheld mode, the little Joy-Con thing I was talking about with the two triggers. Just something along the lines of that. That's like the biggest problem I see with GameCube titles. I still think it's a great thing, and I hope it happens, but that's at least my opinion on it anyways, and I don't necessarily, I don't have faith that we're going to see it here. I really do. I don't even think we might be getting Nintendo 64 titles right away. Like, it even took a while for those to come to the Wii U. So, like, unfortunately, as much as that sucks for Nintendo always to, like, drip feed out Virtual Console, I think it's going to be very similar to how it was in the past, because that's what works for them. It helps fill in the release schedule. It helps keeping Nintendo a steady stream of Nintendo titles, even though they've been doing fantastic so far already. I think that's what we're probably going to see. Like, they're probably going to release a big pack of NES and SNES stuff, and they say, hey, and then they'll maybe put some out on later weeks and say, oh, these guys are going to, this pack of NES or SNES titles are coming out this week. These guys come out the next week, you know, so you can expect every week of the summer a brand new collection of Virtual Console titles or something along the lines of that. And again, I don't even think they're going to roll around until N64. Like, or Wii, for that matter, Virtual Console stuff, till at least a little ways down the road. It's all possible. I think it'll all eventually come. But I think, yeah, at the very least, at the beginning stages, it's going to be very minimal, which sucks, but I think that's just going to happen. Other new titles they could talk about is the Pikmin and all that fun stuff that I've been promotionally plugging throughout this whole video. And again, if you want my thoughts on those, definitely check out those videos. Very in-depth on all those games. Definitely should check those out. Other new surprise announcements that I didn't do solo videos on, and I want to talk about here. I don't know. Like, I think we have all our bases pretty much covered with the Switch. I mean, we have, like, including all the ones that I've already done videos on. Like, I think that's really gonna, there could be at least one more surprise that really no one was expecting. Like, that's very likely that something like that could happen. But I really think that's going to be the encapsulation of what all we're going to see for Nintendo Switch, at least, at this year's E3's digital event. They're obviously going to have a presence with Nintendo 3DS, because they're going to keep continuing that throughout the rest of this year. And, I mean, potentially in the next year, we'll see. They don't plan on dropping it. It makes sense for them to not drop it just yet, because not everyone's on a Switch yet, not everyone can get the opportunity to get a Switch yet, so it makes sense to keep that going. And, as far as announcing new... okay, here's the thing. If they announce new games in 2018 at this year's E3 for Nintendo Switch, or Nintendo 3DS, we can expect 3DS to hang around even longer than I expected. I honestly think 3DS is going to be done at the end of this year. They're not obviously going to say that at E3, but they'll probably talk about the games that are coming out within these next few months. I think Pikmin 3DS is one of them. Ever Oasis might be there. It was at last year's E3 anyways. And there'll be some other stuff too. I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason. What was it? Lady Layton? Maybe they'll talk about Detective Pikachu potentially. I don't really know for certain. I mean, who knows what's going on with that thing? Because suppose we're getting a movie, but we haven't even gotten the game yet, let alone even like anything past episode 1. But I think, yeah, 3DS is going to have a probably smaller presence at this year's E3, but still enough to satisfy those fans and still show that, hey, we're not dropping the 3DS, you know, we're still giving it life. I really think this is Nintendo's opportunity to really put so much focus on the Nintendo Switch and show how committed they are to this and how much faith they have in this console that it's going to be successful. It's been great for them so far. It's been doing extraordinary. And I hope, and they've had an amazing momentum throughout these first launch months. With the Zelda, Mario Kart, ARMS coming up has had so much attention lately. Splatoon's going to kick off a ton, and I think at this year's E3, it's going to turn a lot, their presentation is going to turn a lot of heads towards Nintendo and what they can have to offer. There's going to be probably a big segment, or there's probably going to be a segment about third-party stuff, potentially Sonic Forces, maybe indie titles. Well, they always love doing those indie showcases and everything. There's nothing specifically I want to predict there necessarily. So far, of third-party stuff that we know that's going to all consoles, already has been, like, every time, like, when it doesn't directly say it's on Switch, they already have a formal thing saying, no, sorry, it's not on Switch, which is it's a bummer, and I know, whatever, they might need those sales, but I think Nintendo's been doing fine without them so far. But I think longevity-wise, maybe those developers will realize, wow, the Switch, after this year's E3, maybe they'll be like, wow, this thing is a lot bigger deal than we initially expected. Maybe it would make sense to start putting Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever on the Switch and giving those players the opportunity to play their games. So, there's definitely going to be a segment on that, and they'll talk about the third-party titles, and, because I remember they did all those logos, the big picture infographic talking about how many companies are backing it. There'll probably be some new games there, like Capcom, I'm sure they're going to talk about Monster Hunter Double Cross. I would love them to announce this for the States. Granted, it just got announced for, it's Japan, excuse me. I mean, Double Cross only just came out for the 3DS last March, and then Double Cross for Switch is coming out who knows when. Maybe they'll talk about it here and say that maybe both versions are coming to the Switch here in America. Maybe in the later fall of this year. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up. That'd be like way too early than I expect. But even if they did that, I'd be mind blown. I can't wait to play Monster Hunter on the Switch. I think that's gonna be phenomenal. Especially because of what they've already said is that there's cross multiplayer with the 3DS and Switch version. You can play together online and locally. You can cross-save, so if you have a save on 3DS, you can bring your save data over to the Switch. That's insane and awesome, and I hope that's going to be focused here as well at E3. But I have been going on for a long time. I don't know, I lost track of time, and this is... but hey, this is the full coverage of all the predictions I can have, and I don't even think I can think of anything else. I could probably talk a little bit more about third-party, what I could expect from some other developers and stuff like that, but, it could not happen, or they might not import those specific games, or they'll have some brand new stuff, which is entirely true too. I hope there's going to be a lot of surprises this year at E3, because, I mean, we can expect a lot to be coming out, what I've already been talking about, a lot of the games lined up, like Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem Warriors, nailed the name, Splatoon 2, and, what was the other one? Oh yeah, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Like, that's supposed to be a surprise, but hopefully there's more beyond that we don't know about, and hopefully it doesn't get leaked. I love surprises at E3 where all of a sudden it's like, fantastic brand new experience and you're just like, wow! At least better surprises than frickin' Isabelle walking out of the train station and you're like, oh my god, Animal Crossing on the Wii U, and then it's a game board. None of that, please. I'm done with Nintendo releasing those dumb games like Ziplash, Amiibo Festival, arguably Color Splash, Star Fox Zero, you know. I hope Nintendo, I mean, Pikmin 3DS looks like it's going to be another one of those titles, but I hope Nintendo's learning the lesson and going to start straying away from experiences like that, and don't put them at this year's E3. This thing is going to be so much fun. It's going to be amazing, and just please don't ruin it with something like that. But before I finish off, just to kind of recap, I think this is going to be one of Nintendo's best. I honestly think they're going to be this is going to be one of their best E3s in years, like comparable to their 15 was Smash Bros. Yeah, 16 was Amiibo Festival. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, I think it'll be comparable to the 2014 was Smash Bros. Good lord, I have all my years mixed up. So yeah, I think it's going to be, because I think, my personal opinion, 2014 was the last amazing E3 presence for them. Breath of the Wild and all the Zelda stuff was amazing last year too, don't get me wrong, but I think the Smash Bros. One was way better. And I hope it's going to be at the level of the Smash Bros. One, maybe even better, just because it's the excitement, the buzz of a brand new console, all these brand new games, hopefully a new Animal Crossing. Oh, please, that's literally all I want. I talk about this forever in the last video, but that's the one reveal I want. Like, literally, that is it. One reveal. Don't even, you know what, it's a release date next year. That's fine. That's fine. I'll analyze that footage for months and just keep doing videos on just the same footage. I don't care. I just want Animal Crossing so bad. But you know what, guys? It's been a long video. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think about all these predictions, everything that might be going on at this year's E3 for Nintendo? Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem Warriors, Splatoon 2, potentially a little bit of ARMS, obviously with the tournament. New releases like Metroid Prime, Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Zelda? No, there's not gonna be another Zelda. They already did Breath of the Wild. I don't think there's gonna be another Zelda coming very soon. Maybe a top-down one eventually, but I don't think at this year's E3. I think they're... Oh yeah, maybe the Zelda DLC, because that's supposed to be coming out this summer, and the first pack anyways, and I bet you that might have a showcase here at the CZ3 as well. And they'll probably not talk about the story stuff coming later in the holiday season. They could, potentially, and that could have a little section as well. So you guys, let me know in the comments what you guys are most looking forward to. What is your #1 reveal for Nintendo Switch? Give this video a big, awesome like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for tons on Nintendo E3 2017 coverage. Like I've said previously in many videos before, but if you're new, I'll repeat it. I have the opportunity to go to E3 2017 this year, and I will be providing as much coverage as I possibly can. Obviously, I mean, it's my first time going, and there probably are other people and other channels that are going to have better coverage, arguably better coverage, you know. I'm amateur, I guess, in a way. But I hope you guys really enjoy what I can put out. I'm going to do some, like, on the drive over, like, because Nick and I are going. We're going to do, what's it called, like a road trip vlog, where, like, I'm going to film us, like, in the car, singing songs, probably, playing the Switch, of course, you know, some fun stuff like that. Obviously, probably vlogs on the show floor throughout the week, and then as well as... what do you want to call it? Like gameplay, I'll upload as soon as I play a demo or whatever, and right from the show floor. I hope to as well, at the end of every day, maybe do like a little impressions recap, you know, with like a discussion with Nick, where we just kind of talk about what we played, what we had the most fun with, what we like, we'll go back and maybe play again, you know, all this stuff like that. Obviously, we'll do a reaction / like big whole discussion talking about the digital event itself once that's out. Then, of course, after E3, once I come back, that's when all the hard work starts, where we start analyzing all the trailers, talking about all the brand new announcements really in depth. And I really hope you guys follow me through that coverage and support me, because I'm going for you guys. That's why I'm going, and I hope, well, I'm a little bit selfish. I'm going for me, too. I'm really excited. But yeah, guys, again, thank you so much for the support and the opportunity for letting me go to E3 this year. Subscribe if, or haven't done that yet? Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, definitely. Subscribe if you already haven't. I really would appreciate it. And, yeah. Thank you guys again so much for watching this long E3 predictions video. I know you guys I guess you guys like these really long videos, and it's frankly impressive that I can go this long talking to just a camera. Anyways, guys, yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.